Good evening, everyone. Oh, good evening, everyone. Could I ask you all to get seated? It's 6 o'clock and we're ready to get the show on the road. I'm Mags Bradbury. I'm Head of Social Responsibility and Civic Engagement, and I have the most exciting and strategic role of tonight. I'm providing some very critical health and safety announcements. So, there is no planned fire alarm tonight. It would be foolish to plan a fire alarm for tonight. But if you do hear the alarm, we'll need to leave immediately, and you'll be instructed by your very glamorous fire marshals regarding where to exit and gather. Some of you might have mobile phones. If you do have a mobile phone, please turn it to silent. However, if you'd like to post on social media about the event throughout the evening, please use the hashtag MadAwards. I think that the hashtags should be around on tables so you can have a look. Fortunately, we have toilets. Some of them are downstairs, but there are some accessible toilets just outside the door where you came in. Please note you are going to be famous. This event is being filmed and live streamed on the University of Manchester's YouTube channel. If you have friends and colleagues who are sat at home wishing they were here, they can join in, so please let them know. And finally, we do like to have a bit of fun at the awards, and we like to have a bit of interaction, so you are allowed to have fun. I have complained about Table 3's level of fun, because they were a bit... You know you were misbehaving. So we have an interactive table activity, which Julian will explain all later. So now you can relax, you know where the toilets are, you know how to leave. I'm going to hand over to Julian to get the show on the road.
Thanks very much, Mags, and good evening and welcome everyone. I'm Julian Skirm and I'm the university's Executive Director for Social Responsibility and Civic Engagement. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this year's Making a Difference Awards, where I'll be your compere for the evening. So first off, well done for being here tonight. I hear that the tickets were harder to get than ones for an Oasis reunion. Though, luckily for you, it didn't involve fighting your siblings or navigating dynamic ticket pricing. And it actually reminds me that when we first wrote the script for tonight, it was packed with Oasis puns and references. But honestly, most of them were champagne super cringe. I can promise you, though, tonight, you're going to be in for a wonder wall of inspiring stories of social responsibility from all around the world. But before we get started with the formalities, it's my great pleasure to welcome someone who, some might say, is our very own rock and roll star here at the University of Manchester. Of course, I'm talking about our President and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Duncan Ivison. Since arriving, Duncan has been working hard on shaping a new strategy for our university, but he's also been throwing himself wholly into the spirit of Manchester. He's been seen as a regular on the 142 bus. He's been spotted dancing in the Manchester Museum and at Manchester Pride. And very wisely, he's shown the diplomatic skills of a native, splitting his meeting times exactly evenly between our two football clubs. So please join me in giving a warm Mancunian welcome to Professor Duncan Ivison to officially open tonight's awards.
You know, one thing I love about Manchester, I'm tempted to say, is that, you know, it's a very forward-looking institution. You never look back in anger. And that's something I greatly value. But seriously, it's wonderful to be here. People keep telling me this is the best night of the university calendar in many, many ways, and I can already feel why it is. It is a fantastic room, and, you know, we're here to celebrate, really, in many ways, the heart of the university. As you know, I'll spare you the Vice-Chancellor's indulgence of talking about strategy, but one thing we are doing is thinking about, you know, what makes for a great 21st century university. What defines a great 21st century university? And you can talk about excellent research. You can talk about transformational teaching. You can talk about systems that just work. You can talk about great infrastructure. But at the end of the day, it's the difference that you make in the lives of your students, in the lives of your staff, in the lives of the communities you serve. And one of the main reasons I took this job, aside from the music scene, was that this university, I think, uniquely, distinctly, superbly, gloriously, in the world of elite universities, has that at the heart of its identity. The difference that we make, that you make, to the communities that you serve. It's baked into the university in extraordinary ways. It's in the DNA of the university. So it is a genuine pleasure to be here. It's what distinguishes us, and it's something that is precious and something I think we have to hold on to. But we also have to reflect on it, right? What does it mean to be a great university in the 21st century is one question, but what does it mean to be a socially responsible university in the 21st century at this time, in this place, in the world that we live in today? What does it mean to be a socially responsible university? And on one level, that's a really warm, fuzzy question. It makes us feel warm and inspired. On another level, it's a hard question because we're faced with really big challenges that are complex, dynamic, and difficult to grasp through one perspective alone. So I see the room tonight as a massive response to that question. You know, we're talking about it and thinking about it in the university in all kinds of ways. You are living it, and you are doing it. And I can't think of a better way of honoring that by presenting awards and seeing and hearing about the amazing things you're doing. So whatever happens tonight, whether you're commended or awarded, you're all incredible manifestations of what makes this place, I think, distinctive, not just in Manchester, not just in the UK, but in the world. And our collective task now is to think about how do we take that forward? What does that mean for the future, for our students, for our staff, and for the communities we serve? So let's have a great night. It's a great room. It's feeling good already. And I'm looking forward to learning more about the awardees and nominees. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Duncan. Now, what you're going to see tonight is just a glimpse, a small selection of the incredible work that's been happening in social responsibility over the past year. And so it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who's been turning definitely maybes into definitely yeses long before Oasis made that cool. And that's our Vice President for Social Responsibility, Professor Nalin Thacker. Nalin, please come to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Julian and Duncan, for the warm introduction, and a heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you for joining us tonight for our 2025 Making a Difference Awards. Whether you are a member of our incredible staff, a current student with too many deadlines and not enough sleep, an alum wondering where the years went, a board or general assembly member keeping us ambitious and grounded, one of our brilliant external partners, a judge who's bravely waded through more inspiration than a David Attenborough documentary, or joining us online from halfway around the world, or just down the road in your slippers and pajamas. Wherever you are, whoever you are very, very welcome. I want to start with a moment of recognition for the real heroes amongst us tonight. The Manchester United fans who've skipped one of the biggest matches of their season so far to be here. That, my friends, is the kind of sacrifice that should be mentioned in award citations. Especially my equally follicularly challenged friend Julian, who is here instead of watching what may be the most important match of the season for Red Devils so far. That's true commitment to our university's values, or maybe just really bad scheduling. While I may be risking my friendship with Julian here, I cannot resist sharing that when Harry Maguire scored that quarterfinal winner, in dying seconds of extra time, in the Europa League, no less, I got a text from him within seconds, can we postpone the awards to 26th of May? Now, folks, you know me. I'm a reasonable, accommodating guy. And I gave this request the serious thought that it merited for almost a whole second. But then I remembered I'll be busy that day, Julian. I'll be in Liverpool watching my team on their city parade after lifting their 20th league title. Too soon for some, maybe. So if you're a Red Devil, tonight blame me, but also we all wish your team very good luck, and may your dreams go to the right up to the last whistle, final whistle. Now, all the football banter aside, tonight isn't just about trophies or titles. It's about something deeper. It's about celebrating people who show up for others, who go that extra mile, who remind us that changing the world doesn't always require a cape. Sometimes it just requires kindness, commitment, and a refusal to accept the world as it is. These awards are now in their 11th year, and I've had the honor of being part of 6 of them as Vice President for Social Responsibility. And every year I'm reminded of just how much passion, dedication, and quiet brilliance there is across our university community. We don't just talk about making a difference, we live it. You will hear about work that shows us that compassion, creativity, innovation, and community spirit are alive and thriving at Manchester. But before we honor this year's nominees and winners, I want to take a moment to celebrate some of the extraordinary work that's taken place across the university in the last year, aligned with our 5 key social responsibility priorities. Though I do have to warn you that we might need an intermission, some popcorn, and possibly a band during the interval for the sheer number and scale of achievements we've packed in this year. Our first priority is social inclusion. We now hold a silver award for gender equality, a silver race equality charter mark. At the time we were awarded, only one of 2 universities that had this, and now one of 5. Status as a top 10 employer in the UK for LGBTQ+ equality, and recognition as a disability confident leader. Across our schools and faculties, we have also achieved an impressive collection of 6 silver and 3 bronze Athena Swan Awards. All of these achievements demonstrating our deep and continuing commitment to equality, diversity, and inclusion. If you've been involved in any of these, you'll be up for a group photo later. So practice your best changing the world pose. We're also formally recognized as a fully accredited member of the Greater Manchester Mayor's Good Employment Charter, a real endorsement of our values as an employer. And last but not least, by any means, a joint initiative between the university and our Students' Union to provide enhanced financial support for less privileged students was recognized as with a prestigious Times Higher Education Award. Our second priority is prosperous communities. In support of this, we launched Unit M, which, by the way, Richard, sounds something like a secret spy department, but is in fact something even more exciting, reimagining innovation for Greater Manchester, more agile, outward-facing way. We unveiled the rebranded ID Manchester joint venture with Bruntwood SciTech, now known as Sister. And in the most recent knowledge exchange framework, we received the highest possible rating, very high engagement for our intellectual property and commercialization work. Our third priority is better health, and on this, we have been busy creating healthier futures, literally. We're developing our new cross-university Healthier Futures initiative to tackle health inequalities and outcomes. We're strengthening global North-South partnerships, particularly with our work in Kenya, Kenyan government to combat non-communicable diseases. And we're deepening civic partnerships to give our health-based students more service learning opportunities, ensuring health-based students make practical contributions to society as part of their study programs. On our fourth priority of environmental sustainability, we won a Green Gown Award, and in a few weeks, we are switching on a solar farm the size of 70 football pitches. See, even our energy is Premier League standard. This will supply 60% of our electricity and bring down our carbon emissions by a further 25% from this year. We also launched an £8 million research centre to ensure sustainability is not just green, but just. Finally, on cultural engagement, Manchester Museum launched Wild, exploring our complex relationship with the natural world. The Whitworth presented Women in Revolve, showcasing the voices and power of more than 90 women artists driving women's liberation movement. John Rylands is celebrating its 125th anniversary with a full year of special events and exhibitions. Jodrell Bank Discovery Centre continues to wow thousands of visitors, including screening Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon in the Space Dome, which, I'll be honest, is the most Mancunian sentence I've ever said. What better place to experience music that is out of the world? And finally, Creative Manchester is building powerful partnerships with UNESCO's City of Literature, Manchester International Festival, Manchester Literature Festival, and Manchester Histories Festival, all working together to shape us into a creative force for good. And beyond our 5 priorities, we've published a comprehensive new Sustainable Development Goals impact report, highlighting how our work maps against the most pressing issues facing humanity as defined by the United Nations. We launched a new economic impact report, which showed that our total contribution is a staggering 7.3 billion. And we took an inclusive approach to shaping our future, engaging patients, local residents, citizen panels, neighborhood groups, and local authorities in the development of our new strategy. As we transition from our future to Manchester 2035, the impact of our collective work has never been clearer or more needed. We remain the top-ranked university in the UK and Europe for our contribution to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, in the top 10 globally for ESG in QS sustainability rankings, and one of only 2 UK universities with a Platinum Engage watermark. This is not just success, we are building a legacy. And it's thanks to all of you, the students, staff, partners, neighbors, and unsung heroes who give life to our mission of social responsibility. So thank you. Thank you for caring, for acting, for inspiring, for making a difference, even when no one's watching. And even when Harry Maguire scores a last-minute winner. A huge thank you to everyone who entered or nominated someone for Making a Difference award, or spent time on one of our many judging panels. We really appreciate your time and support. Everyone who was nominated, irrespective of whether they feature tonight as highly commended or winning entry, should be immensely proud of their achievements. And finally, to quote the great Mancunian philosopher Liam Gallagher, don't look back in anger, for no other reason than Julian wants to weave in an Oasis theme. I couldn't see the relevance of this, but do look back in pride. And also look around you in awe, because you are surrounded by some of the most inspiring people in the world, because you, all of you, are the reason this university truly makes a difference. Thank you. Have a truly joyful, moving, and unforgettable evening.
Thank you, Nalin. So now it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who brings real energy, insight, and yes, a touch of the supersonic to everything he does. Please join me in giving a really warm welcome to our Chancellor, Nazir Afzal Obi, as he comes to the stage. So, Nazir, thanks again for taking the time to come along and present prizes to our highly commended and win an entrance. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Julian, and thank you very much, everybody. Good evening. Julian wrote my script, so I have just edited it entirely to take out every single Oasis reference. I should give you some breaking news. We have an American Pope, so that will not overshadow this event. I'm delighted once again to be here to the Making a Difference Awards. These are my 3rd awards. I get to see so many inspirational things in this role, and these awards are always a highlight of my calendar activities. With everything going on in the world, we need these awards. The rise of cynicism towards truth and experts, with the attacks that we've seen on equality, diversity, and inclusion, and with some of the hostile rhetoric that we see towards each other in our wider politics, nights like tonight, when we come together to celebrate our actions and the values that underpin them, feel really important to me. Take out Oasis joke. I want to say that it is absolutely important that we celebrate success. We celebrate difference. We celebrate the people who are making a difference. I said to my son the other day, it's not about what you do for your family or your friends, it's about what you do for strangers. That is what marks us out as different, and that's the difference that everybody in this room continues to make, and this university continues to make to so many lives. Oasis joke cut out. I just want to So I want to say thank you very much indeed for giving me the opportunity to hand out these awards this evening and to be in your esteemed company. Thank you, Julian.
Thanks, Nazir. He took out the line, Champagne Super Chancellor, which I can see why he did now. But, okay, they're not all written by me. I'll explain later. So, so, since this is your third time now, I think, Nazir, at these awards, do you want to kick off a bit by explaining how things will work tonight?
Yeah, we do. We're awarding prizes in 9 categories for social responsibility. They cover contributions from staff, students, alumni, and from partners. And for each category, we will have guest presenters. You'll see them on the stage. They will reveal the highly commended awards and then the overall winner.
And then we want all our highly commended entries to come up on the stage and receive their certificate from Nazir. Then the overall winners in each category will receive one of these trophies. Ta-da.
You can't buy that in any shop. No. And we'll then see a short film, and that will be about each winning project, which will highlight the impact of their work and references why they needed to win this award. It also addresses the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
And tonight we'll also be awarding 2 university medals for social responsibility, one for staff and one for alumni, and these will be revealed later.
Thanks, Julian. And it just leaves me to say something about our music tonight. In our strategy development process, Duncan talks about being of Manchester and for the world. Now, we know how much Duncan enjoys music, and so we did consider surprising you, Duncan, by playing exclusively Canadian anthems from our amazing house band, Funked It Up. But honestly, when we tried the Canadian set of Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, and Leonard Cohen, it just didn't quite have the celebratory tone that we wanted tonight. So instead, we've taken the of Manchester aspect of our strategy to heart tonight, and you will be hearing musical segments that are 100% Manchester.
Now, in case you haven't spotted it yet, we've also added a little friendly competition into the mix tonight, and it's called the Manchester Mastermind. And here's how it works. Each table needs to nominate one person to be your official scribe. Don't argue about that. Your job as a group is to see who can be the first to correctly name the artist and the song title for each of the songs that you hear from our brilliant band throughout the evening. And when we finish tonight, come up and find us at the front, and you let us know who your winner is, and they'll get a special Manchester Mastermind pin badge. So thanks again, Nazir, and let's get started. Okay. So, for our first award for tonight, I would like to invite up to the stage April McMahon, Vice President for Teaching, Learning and Students, and Jen Hallam, Vice Dean for Teaching, Learning and Student Experience in the Faculty of Biology, Medicine and Health, come up to the stage to present our first award category, the award for Outstanding Teaching Innovation in Social Responsibility.
Thank you so much, Julian, and thank you for inviting us. It's a weighty responsibility to give out the first of these prizes, you know. In fact, we wondered how we might misbehave, didn't we? We thought, maybe we'll just do a thing, and everyone thinks they have to do the thing afterwards. But we've taken an executive decision that we're far too frightened of Julian to actually do that tonight. So we're just going to behave and be good girls all here. So Jen and I are absolutely delighted to be presenting this first award, which is for Outstanding Teaching Innovation in Social Responsibility. And we are dead chuffed that that puts teaching at the top of the agenda for tonight as well. We've got 2 highly commended awards and 1 winner. And Jen, I think you were going to tell us about the highly commended, aren't you?
I am, thank you, April. So I'm delighted to share that our first highly commended award goes to a project that offers free legal advice to members of the public who are most in need. So our biggest congratulations go to the Justice Hub team. Table 2, I hope you wrote that down for the song. So our second highly commended award goes to a project that allows wider student community to access evidence-based psychological therapy, whilst also addressing the training needs of our clinical psychology students. So our congratulations go to Claire Fothergill, Katie Reid, Richard Brown, Tobin Bell, Anna Prusaneska and Katie Morgan for the development of a cognitive behavioural therapy training clinic.
Fantastic. Right. And now the shiny envelope. So the winning award goes to a project that's empowering medical students to enhance their clinical skills while addressing health inequalities in ethnic minority communities. And congratulations go to Anjali Vaidyanathan, Rebecca Marks, Sarah Sharp, and Enam Ulhak. Well done.
This project, the Anjali, Rebecca, Sarah, and Anam is doing is a fantastic project. This is a classic service learning project. The service learning is a symbiotic partnership between the students and the community. And this project actually involved in taking the blood pressure of the community. So the students, while learning their skill, they also understand the community better and also is helping the community to get their health promotion. Manchester, as we know, is one of the areas where the health is a challenging issue. So this particular group is addressing that issue with the students' resources. The impact in the community, qualitatively, the community members are very much impressed what the students are doing. And then the pilot project gave the confidence to the group to go beyond that and then make it as the mandatory requirements for the whole faculty, which is a great thing. It's a fantastic project, guys. All the best. You deserve the award, and then congratulations.
What an amazing project, and I know this team has been out right across Greater Manchester making an impact across our communities, so it's great to see them get that award. So our next awards are for Outstanding Public Engagement Initiative, and we have several categories, subcategories within this award. So can I welcome to the stage Stephanie Snow, our Academic Lead for Community Engagement and Involvement in the Faculty of Biology, Medicine and Health, and Kieran Wilkinson, Head of External Relations at Manchester Museum, to come and present these awards.
Thank you, Julian. As he said, there's several subcategories for this. In fact, there's 28 names that are in these envelopes that we're about to say, so wish us luck. Stephanie, could you announce the highly commended awards for outstanding local and civic engagement?
Thank you, Kieran. Hello, everyone. I hope you're going to outbeat an Oasis audience tonight. So, the first highly commended award goes to a project working with families to adapt and evaluate a parent-delivered early language teaching programme for young children with Down syndrome. Congratulations go to Kelly Burgoyne, Kirsty Hartwell, Emma Pagnamenta, Vesna Stogljovic, and Rebecca Baxter for the Parents and Children Together project. Congratulations to them. The second highly commended award goes to an initiative raising awareness of bees' crucial role in ecosystems. Congratulations go to Chungi Lau, Andrea Lalita, Wei Cheng Liu, Hassan Masood, Miroslava Villalobos, Ruki Lee, and Jansi Beeb Khan for the Buzz for Bees project. The third highly commended award goes to a project that helped local communities see peatlands differently. So congratulations go to Melanie Giles, Martin Evans, John McAuliffe and Matthew Patterson for the Learning from the Past, Looking to the Future Peatland Communities project.
Okay, now for the winner of subcategory 1. The winning award for local and civic engagement goes to an outstanding participatory research project that enabled the development of a greener, safer and less polluted walking route around our local neighbourhood in Ardwick. Congratulations go to...
Wait.
Sheena Cruikshank, Joanna Barlow, Joe Morris, George Adams, Nick Vice, Olivia Jackson and the Ardwick Climate Action Team.
The Ardwick Green Route project is a collaboration between our most local residents in Ardwick, the Ardwick Climate Action Group, healthcare workers, Professor Sheena Cruikshank and researchers across the University of Manchester. It aims to address air quality and pollution and travel safety issues in the Ardwick community. So together, the Ardwick Climate Action Group and researchers, particularly Professor Sheena Cruikshank, created evidence to demonstrate that there are real air quality, pollution and safety issues in Ardwick. And they worked collaboratively along with artists and healthcare workers to demonstrate that evidence and to look for solutions to creating safer paths. The project has made a huge difference. It's created wayfinders, or a green route that weaves its way through the Ardwick community and onto campus. It really looks to bring about safer walking routes, reduce opportunities for poor air quality for those residents and young people who live in that community, and to tap into the wonderful sources of biodiversity that are spread across Ardwick. Another important outcome has been highlighting residents' concerns and bringing about real change. A number of policy recommendations were written by Sheena and other researchers to the local policy makers to really highlight residents' voices and to create change on the ground. Many congratulations to Professor Sheena Cruikshank and the Ardwick Climate Action Group for a really successful collaborative partnership project.
So the next set of awards we're going to move on to are the Outstanding National and International Engagement. Kieran, please can you announce the Highly Commended Awards?
Thank you. The first Highly Commended Award goes to a project developing and sharing best practice for patient and public involvement in suicide prevention. Congratulations goes to Dr. Leah Quinlivan and the team. Thank you. The second Highly Commended Award goes to a play that encourages diverse audiences to engage and have a voice in the critical issues surrounding the climate emergency. Congratulations goes to Andy Smith and Lindsay O'Sullivan for A Citizens' Assembly. The third Highly Commended Award goes to a project that aims to create empathy and understanding about the chronic cough by sharing stories in creative ways. There's quite a few people in this team, so refrain from you clapping. Congratulations go to Jackie, Siobhan, Jenny, Rachel, Sarah, Phil, James, Kitty, Joan, and the Let's Talk About Cough team.
And now for our winners. And I say winners because this year the judges chose 2 projects for outstanding national and international engagement. So the first winning award goes to a student-led project aiming to teach children in Kenya about oral health. So congratulations go to you waiting? Rachel Lee, Ariam Panchamatia, Ishmeen Bamra, and Shivani Kohan for the International Dentists in Primary Schools, the Kenyan project. Yeah?
The International Dentists in Primary School Kenyan project is really trying to deliver education to Kenyan children because 50% of them suffer dental decay, tooth decay, and they're there to deliver the training in partnership with the Rahul Kotak Foundation. Firstly, they delivered it online, then they delivered it face-to-face. The really important thing is that the majority of the children in Kenya have no toothbrushes. So one of the things they did was took toothbrushes out, explained dental care, basic things like how to brush your teeth and how to use toothpaste, and really big impact. 100% of the children, they wanted them to come back. They learnt something, and 100% of the volunteers would do it again, and they learnt something as well. So huge impact. And really, this is the fantastic model where we have students in the UK who successfully deliver work locally, and then they take what they've learnt locally and deliver it internationally, globally, and have that same impact in another environment. Congratulations to the team for a brilliant project, really well delivered, huge impact, and a great model that other people can take on and deliver as well. Thank you.
The second winner for Outstanding National and International Engagement goes to an initiative aiming to raise awareness, inform prevention strategies, and improve women's experience of running. So congratulations go to Caroline Miles and Rose Broad.
Caroline Rose's project is a really groundbreaking project. It looks at the abuse of women runners in public spaces. In the Department of Criminology, we have a really long history of research on violence and gender-based violence, but actually very little work in this field looks at the abuse of women in public spaces, and that's what's new and exciting about their study. So what they've been doing is they've done a survey of women in Merseyside and in Greater Manchester, and they've also collated diary accounts from women who exercise in public spaces to capture their experiences of life in public spaces. And they've captured quite high rates of harassment, usually perpetrated by men and boys in public spaces. One of the things that's really interesting about that, though, is it's not just that women generally don't report to the police, but it impacts on their well-being, on their capacity to exercise, on their freedom to get out and be about doing their exercises. So the study has had loads of media coverage in the UK. It's been picked up by all the mainstream newspapers and TV channels. And it's starting to influence both the debate in Greater Manchester and the national policy debate about gender-based violence and what we need to do to tackle men and boys' behaviour. It was great to see the UN Special Rapporteur Reem Assalam, when she came to the UK, took real note of Rose and Caroline's research in her assessment of what the UK is doing to tackle gender-based violence. Well done, Rose and Caroline. Absolutely excellent, groundbreaking research, and so well deserved with all the coverage that you're getting.
Okay, the next and final subcategory under public engagement, I feel like Stephanie and I have been on stage for about 2 hours, is for outstanding public contribution. Stephanie, could you announce our highly commended, please?
So the highly commended award goes for outstanding public contribution to a project that facilitates collaborations between artists and science academics in Manchester. So congratulations go to Annie Carpenter and Andrew Wilson for the Paralab project.
Great. And now, the overall winner for Outstanding Public Contribution. This goes to a project ensuring that those with lived experience of mental health services provide meaningful input into the training of clinical psychologists. Congratulations goes to the Community Liaison Group.
The Community Liaison Group is a group of experts drawn from NHS patients, the public, service users, carers, and the aim of the CLG is to offer a lived experience perspective onto the clinical psychology doctorate programme, so that the students, or we call them trainees, so the trainees on our programme have an informed perspective from a patient, service user, carer's perspective on how to deliver care in the NHS, specifically how to deliver psychological care. One of the main issues that I think the CLG are superb in doing is ensuring that there is a genuine patient perspective or carer perspective held in mind by our trainees as they prepare for being part of the NHS workforce. We want them to be brilliant clinicians, but we want them to also be empathic, understanding, human, and that's very much what the CLG help them do. They've been in existence more than 20 years now. 2001 is when they started. And in that time, they've become genuinely embedded, fully integrated into our clinical psychology programme. So they deliver teaching sessions, they contribute to research supervision, they offer consultancy to trainees on a clinical perspective, on research projects as well. They are part of our selection panels for new students joining the programme. So they've managed to successfully integrate themselves alongside all the busy academics also work alongside the programme as well. On behalf of all of those involved in the clinical psychology doctoral programme, I want to say thank you to the Community Liaison Group, not just for winning this award, but for the 20 years plus of contribution you've made to our programme. We couldn't have been successful without you. Thank you so much.
What an amazing set of winners. You might have thought that last band was Australian, but actually some of them formed in a suburb in Manchester of Chorlton-cum-Hardy, so hopefully that gives you a clue if you didn't get that. So now before we move on to these next awards, and particularly because this is a category around public engagement, we wanted to take this moment to mark the contribution of someone who did so much to advance our engagement with communities. Someone actually who's been here on stage in the past as a winner of a Making a Difference Award, and who tragically passed away just in March of this year. And this, of course, is our dear colleague Andrea Winn, Curator of Community Exhibitions at Manchester Museum. So we're now going to take this opportunity to recognise Andrea's contribution by inviting up to the stage Esme Ward, the Director of Manchester Museum, and also Andrea's mum, Jean, to share some reflections with us about Andrea. So please come up to the stage, Esme and Jean.
Oh, how Andrea would have loved this. This was her happy place. So Andrea worked at Manchester Museum for 18 years and led with such care and humility and creativity a huge range of public engagement work, from socially engaged volunteering and age-friendly programming to taking a tiger into the library, obviously, and a whole host of community-based partnerships and exhibitions. She was always at the forefront of change. She was smart, kind, ever curious, with a wicked sense of humour. And frankly, people just loved working with her. See, she was so unassuming in her work. There was no ego. Today, we're a museum of sanctuary because of her leadership. She cared, mobilised and built relationships with refugee organisations, researchers, charities and people across the city and communities. She laid the foundations for our socially responsible work, winning multiple awards along the way, ensuring the museum was a place of belonging and meaning for those who need it most. Put simply, she was the best of us. And across the museum, we miss her deeply and know how very grateful we are to have worked with her as our esteemed colleague and dear friend.
Could I ask everyone then to join with us with a standing ovation to Andrea and her work and her life, and ask our Chancellor to present Andrea's mum Jean with a special posthumous Making a Difference Award. Thank you. Okay, let's now move on to our next award, and that is Outstanding Contribution to Widening Access and Student Success. Now, these awards really showcase our commitment to engaging with young people and students, and presenting these awards are Lexi Baines, our Union Affairs Officer, and Natalie Gardner, Vice Dean for Social Responsibility in the Faculty of Biology, Medicine and Health. Please come to the stage.
Thank you, Julian. So first, you'll be pleased to hear that I've edited out all of Julian's jokes and instead going my own, so just bear with me if it doesn't flow quite right. But Natalie and I are delighted to be presenting this award for outstanding contribution to widening access and student success. Access and success is a subject very close to my heart, and in November, the Union Students' Union, in partnership, invested £2 million in uplifting the Manchester bursary threshold. We also work on a student basic needs centre at the Students' Union. So if you know any donors, then please send them my way. But enough of that. Natalie, please could you announce the highly commended awards?
It'd be my pleasure. Okay, so the first highly commended award goes to a project striving to make the next generation of doctors more representative of the current UK population. So congratulations go to Ellis Critchley and Manchester Outreach Medics. The second highly commended award is going to a project that aims to encourage more students to study maths at university, and especially those from low socioeconomic groups. So congratulations here go to Louise Walker for the Levelling Up Maths project. Congratulations.
So before we go on to winner, I couldn't help but notice Duncan's bemusement at the song that just played. So if there's any hint, it was played at my birthday party just a few years ago, if that gives you a clue about the number. So now on to the winner. The winner for outstanding contribution to widening access and student success is an initiative that inspires and engages students from widening participation backgrounds, ensuring that they have the opportunity to explore diverse STEM pathways. So congratulations goes to the Volunteering, Outreach and Science and Engineering team.
Voice are the Volunteering, Outreach in Science and Engineering Society. They're a student society completely made up of just students at the university, and they're working with widening participation schools to ensure that young learners have an opportunity to be inspired, build confidence and explore experiences in STEM. To meet the project aim, Voice not only deliver workshops in local schools, but they also assist in running faculty-led workshops on campus. These workshops explore concepts of STEM in an interactive and engaging way, which are always well received by the audiences. From 2014, they've been involved in various outreach activities through 5 off-campus activities and 12 on-campus activities, but they've also explored different aspects of these different days that they could. So for example, they have also assisted in Women in STEM days and Special Educational Needs days. Voice continue to grow their commitment to our local schools by developing their own sessions and their resources, and with just under 200 volunteers registered currently, I'm sure that they'll reach this pretty soon. It's an honour and privilege to work so closely with Voice, and I cannot wait to see what they do in future.
Okay, we're now on to our next category tonight, which is Outstanding Professional Services for Social Responsibility. And this award will be handed out by two brilliant professional services colleagues of mine. First, Alison Shedlock, who, in rock and roll terms, she's like a tour manager of this university. She makes sure everything's clean, she makes sure everybody's fed, and also that nobody's thrown any televisions out of windows. And second, presenting this award is our Registrar, Secretary, and Chief Operating Officer. If the university were a band, this person wouldn't just be managing the tour, they'd have negotiated the multi-million-pound royalties, sorted out the stadium deal, while still keeping an eye on who's sneaking around backstage for an extra pint. So Alison and Patrick, please come up to the stage to present this next award.
Well, in the spirit of the evening so far, I was thinking that if our university were a band, Julian would be a front man who would actually remember his set list. He would make sure that there were accessibly priced tickets for everyone, and he wouldn't dream of flouncing off stage in a huff, unlike certain Mancunian siblings. You see, I stuck to the script for you, Julian. Good evening, everybody. So on to this category for Outstanding Professional Services for Social Responsibility. We have two highly commended awards in this category and two winners. Alison, would you please announce the highly commended winners, please?
Thank you, Patrick. So the first highly commended award goes to the project addressing lack of interaction between home and international students, aiming to bridge cultural, racial and political divides. So congratulations go to Peter, Yannon, Lorelei, Yan Young, Sol, Halia, Jake, Nazira for the Manchester-China Friendship Programme. And the second highly commended award goes to a project encouraging students to be more environmentally conscious. Congratulations go to Fiona, Emily, Dale, Andrew, Ashley, Pauline and Rob for the Sustainable as Students project.
And now on to our first winner, which is for Emerging Impact. And it's the first time this award has been given in this category. The winner is for an initiative that aims to inspire underrepresented students to pursue careers in cancer research. Congratulations go to Simon Reeds for increasing inclusivity and access to cancer research.
Cancer is a disease that affects 1 in 2 of us in the UK. And this work is looking to address that head on by incorporating engagement activities that reach those communities that are most at risk of developing cancer. So Simon's work at the MCRC is really at the forefront of all of our engagement activities. He leads activities involving schools engagement, engagement activities with our postgraduate researchers, and then more stuff that links in with the wider communities that are most affected by these cancer inequalities. Well, Simon's work's had a huge impact at the MCRC. He's led engagement activities and work experience activities that have led to dozens of people entering the research careers pipeline through things like work experience and like engagement activities. He's reached out to thousands of members of the wider community through events and community events like New Scientist Live, where we've had conversations with people about research and their experiences with cancer. But most importantly, he's built trust with community members, which is invaluable because that allows us to bring them in to the research pipeline. And whenever there's opportunities, we have that connection and that relationship with various contacts within the communities we can call up as we need. Simon, you really, really deserve this award. You've had a massive impact at the MCRC. You really deserve all the recognition for all of your hard work.
Amazing. Okay, so now I'm delighted to reveal the winning award for Outstanding Professional Services for Social Responsibility. And this award goes to a bicentenary initiative supporting and providing meaningful employment opportunities to over 200 members of our local community. Congratulations go to Michael Platt, Will Day English, Freya Mugan and Fiona Call for the Bicentenary Inclusive Recruitment Initiative.
The aim of the project, 200 for 200, was to align the university's bicentenary celebrations with an inclusive recruitment campaign. We wanted to offer opportunities for people from the local area to get back into work, into the university, and 200 seemed like a really natural target. So we set up the project working with Aspire Recruitment. We were able to get in the end, far more than 200. We got 224 opportunities for people to come in and get really meaningful paid employment opportunities that have converted for a number of them into long-term employment at the university.
Starting at the university has made a massive difference in my life. I'd been quite upset at being out of work for a while, not being able to show that I had skills, not being able to convince people that my transferable skills from my previous employment would work in an office environment. And getting this job not only gives me security, but it's really helped to build my self-confidence and allowed me to make the progression that I have.
The impact of this project has been phenomenal, and it's really important for us as a socially responsible organisation to be drawing from the communities that surround us in our location, many of whom are very diverse, and we've been really pleased that the people that have come through this programme have been from some of those underrepresented communities. It's great to see that the communities that anchor us and walk past us every day are now coming in the door and helping us grow and go from strength to strength. It's really what being a socially responsible organisation is all about. So it's a big thank you from me and from all the 224 people that were involved in this project, to Mike, Will, Freya and Fiona for putting this all together and providing such an incredible opportunity for people to come and join us at the university.
So well done to all my professional services colleagues. I know how much passion and commitment you have for this work. So we've seen now some amazing Making a Difference awards so far, and we're now over halfway through the evening. So before we take a break, we're now going to take this opportunity to give out a special Making a Difference award that recognises a significant milestone for one of our interdisciplinary research areas, Tindle Center, Manchester. For this section, we'll be inviting our chair of the board to perform the citation. Now, if the chair of the board is a band, this person would be keeping everyone in tune, setting the tempo, and politely reminding the drummer that they're not really in charge. So, please can I welcome up to the stage Philippa Hurd to present this next award.
I don't know whether to be upset or pleased that you didn't write me any jokes, Julian. So thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I'm keeping you from your next glass of wine. It's a great pleasure to be here and to introduce this award and to read this citation. I was very explicitly told I wasn't allowed to say anything other than what's on this sheet of paper, and I'll almost do that. So as a board, we take huge pride in the university's commitment to social responsibility, that everything that the institution does contributes positively to social and environment impact. And so sticking with pride, we're immensely proud that the university has been a founding member of the Tindle Center for Climate Change Research, and that the university has hosted Tindle Manchester here. Over the last 25 years, the university has seen the centre grow into a globally respected and influential hub of interdisciplinary climate change research. Established to tackle a defining challenge of our generation, the climate crisis, Tindle Manchester has been at the cutting edge of debates around climate action since it was founded, leading with integrity, commitment, and a deep sense of purpose. We've been delighted to have this Tindle Center along to talk to us at board meetings. A key indicator of their achievement is their involvement in 4 impact cases in the last Research Excellence Framework. They've given evidence to select committees and in court cases. They've undertaken talks and activities for schools and science engagement events, performed advisory roles for public and private sector organizations, made TV, radio and podcast appearances, and most excitingly, I think, have made a climate-themed mini golf game to engage festival goers at Blue Dot. Tindle researchers and PhD students from across a wide range of disciplines collaborate daily at the centre. Some of these take their expertise and experiences into different roles around the world. Others have made long-term careers within the centre itself. Tindle Manchester's work and ethos aligns closely with the university's commitment to social responsibility and to sustainability, and they make significant contributions to our position as the top-ranking institution in Europe for impact towards the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Colleagues have also been generous in their support for reducing our university's carbon footprint. Our academic lead for carbon, Professor Carly McLachlan, has been instrumental in guiding our critical decarbonisation plans, particularly through now award-winning power purchase agreement to fund and build the very large solar farm that Julia mentioned earlier. So, To everyone in Tindle Manchester, past and present, I'd like to offer a huge thank you for the way in which you have made a difference over such a sustained period of time, locally, nationally, and globally. There's never been a time when your research is more relevant or more important. And we look forward as a whole institution to helping you in helping shape the next 25 years of energy and climate policy. Before we invite our Tindle colleagues, it's a teeny group, to receive their award, let's watch a short film about their work.
The Tindle Center for Climate Change Research was established 25 years ago as the UK's first interdisciplinary climate change research centre.
Our mission has always been about real-world impact, working across disciplines and beyond academia to shape effective and evidence-based policy. The University of Manchester is a founding Tindle partner, and the Tindle Manchester team have played a key role in the success and impact of Tindle over the last 25 years.
One of Tindle's most influential contributions has been in developing a carbon budget framework. By taking the global carbon budget, the amount of greenhouse gases the world can emit to stay within particular climate limits, and translating these into national allocations, we helped shape the UK's Climate Change Act.
This approach didn't just influence national policy, it empowered action at a local level too. We provided local authorities with science-based carbon budgets aligned to the Paris Agreement, giving clear science-based targets to work towards.
We also developed a free tool that allows local authorities to create their own carbon budget allocation, connecting their climate action aspirations to our global commitments and making the scale and the urgency of the climate challenge clear.
Aviation and shipping are often left out of national climate plans because they're seen as global sectors, but we'd help challenge that perception. Tindle's work ensured that these sectors weren't overlooked in national climate planning, strengthening the ambition of the UK's targets. We've challenged assumptions that new technologies will cut emissions quickly enough and emphasise the need for real reductions in demand and shifts in operational practices. Our work has fed directly into UK government, influenced EU policy, and helped to shape targets set by the UN's International Maritime Organisation.
Since 2019, the Tindle Centre has been supporting climate action in the live music sector. Working with the band Massive Attack, we've developed a roadmap for how live music events can significantly cut their carbon emissions.
A large proof of concept event, 32,000 person Act 1.5 festival on Bristol Downs, put the roadmap into practice. The festival produced significantly lower emissions from power than a conventional event. This demonstrated the opportunity for promoters, power providers, local authorities and central government to create the conditions for the UK to lead the world in super low carbon events.
Looking ahead, Tindle is helping the UK prepare for the impacts of climate change through research on resilience. We're looking at how our wider infrastructure systems can cope with both the changing climate and the shift to low carbon technologies.
As we become more reliant on electricity, like for transport and heating, our research explores how resilient those systems really are and how this affects people's ability to go about their daily lives during extreme weather.
Tindle is developing new ways to evaluate the resilience of both electricity networks and the key services they provide, making sure they can withstand both extreme weather and new patterns of supply and demand.
Tindle is also playing a key role in tackling one of the biggest challenges in the race to net zero, industrial decarbonisation. We're working on how we can reduce emissions from some of the hardest to abate sectors like steel, cement and chemicals. Our work looks beyond just the technologies like carbon capture, hydrogen and electrification, and into how these solutions can be rolled out fairly, effectively and at scale. That means working closely with industry, policymakers and local communities to understand the real-world challenges and opportunities.
Working at the city and local authority scale has been central to Tindle's research from the outset. In Manchester, we've been leading work that helps cities and local authorities meet their climate targets by adopting a co-benefits approach to decision-making. It supports a holistic approach to help consider how projects and programmes impact strategically important areas. The tool aims to support cities and local authorities through a practical way of embedding their climate action targets in everyday practice. Building on our work with the music industry, we're now working with Liverpool as a testbed for how cities can support decarbonisation across different sectors. Whilst Tindle has achieved a lot in its first 25 years, the challenge is clear. We need to accelerate action on reducing emissions, enhancing biodiversity and ensuring resilience. and we need to do this in ways that are just. Our focus remains on partnership and collaboration across sectors, across places and across disciplines to drive evidence-informed action and help shape a more sustainable future.
So I'd now like to invite the incredibly important, we need you now more than ever, Tindle team onto the stage.
Thank you very much. I'll be very brief. I want to give a few thank yous for receiving this award. So I'd firstly like to thank the University of Manchester and particularly the School of Engineering, who've provided us a home and a space to grow, both the size of the team, but also the impact and the reach of our research over 25 years. 25 years ago, we were a bit of a square peg in a round hole, really. We were banging on about policy all the time and this climate change thing, and we were just a bit unusual. And we were delighted that people could kind of see the value of us and stick with us. And now I think, both the sector and the university have become much more square-shaped, and so we feel we fit much better, and that's because things have changed about the importance of impact and policy engagement, which is great for us and great for all the kinds of impact that we're seeing across this evening. I'd like to thank our partners, organisations and individuals who have been courageously collaborative with us in challenging the status quo in their own organisations and trialling new approaches, and without them we wouldn't be able to have this kind of impact. But really I would like to close by thanking the people of Tindle, the team, past and present. You can see the imprint of different people that have come through Tindle over the last 25 years. It stays even if they move on as we kind of evolve as a group in the way that we do things. And we stick together, I think, because we choose to collaborate because of the purpose and the commitment to impact that we have. It is a really beautiful team to be part of, and I feel incredibly lucky to be able to go to work at the Tindle Center every day. And my colleagues are relentlessly supportive, generous, constructive, and creative. Every day there are chances to learn and to see things from different perspectives, and I think that's a pretty amazing place to be. And that is important because it's a very challenging time to work on climate action at the moment, as many of you in this room know. And that kind of support is important because in some ways it looks like we're going backwards, we're rehashing old debates, and it is important, I think, that we take this moment to reflect on how we've got here and what it means for what we're doing next. But we also need to remember that public support for climate action remains stubbornly high. There is much to do still, but the camaraderie and the commitment of the Tindle team and our partners mean that we are ready to get stuck in. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Philippa, and well done, Carly, and all of the Tindle Manchester team. So that's nearly the end of the first half of our set list. We're going to have a quick interval where you'll have time to have a drink, recharge your glasses, a chance to stretch your legs. But first of all, as Nalin mentioned at the start of the awards, we'd like to recognise all of the work the teams have been doing on our different equality charter marks. So I'm going to need the help of Jackie, of Dawn, of Rachel as well. You can see you there, I couldn't see where you are. If you can help us just gather people, because what we'd like to do is ensure that anybody that's been involved in an equality, diversity and inclusion charter mark over the past year, please come forward and have a quick photograph with Nalin and Duncan to mark the significant achievements of colleagues working in our EDI agenda. So for everyone else, please come back in 10 minutes. It's 7:31, we're bang on time. So please be back for 7:41 to resume the next part of the awards. Thanks very much. If we can start again in 1 minute. Test 1, 2. Okay. Okay, we'd like to start in 1 more minute. If you can start to make your way back to the tables, please. Thank you.
Esme, you mean? Yeah, and Duncan's lost his phone. Oh, okay. Congratulations, well done. I'm really chuffed for you. I've had to keep a secret for a long time. No, it's an amazing project, and it's lovely to see it all come together like that. And yeah, it's such a good issue. I was just watching people's faces when they're watching the videos. Lots of people have never thought of this. It's one of those great projects. As soon as you hear it, you think, well, yeah, of course. But people have not actually processed it as a gender issue. Yeah, well, hopefully, the whole point of these is it's a stepping stone to, you should be applying for some national things around this. And it's totally, yeah. So if there's anything we can do to help, obviously that film now, so it's all part of your collateral, hopefully, but things you can do. No worries, yeah. Well, thanks for coming. Well, I'm glad we weren't in the second half then. No, don't worry. Well done. Do we know where Duncan's phone is? No. It's not turned up. He didn't leave it on the lectern, did he? Which they took off. No, that's the only thing up on stage. Did he come with it? Did he come with a phone? But you always do, didn't you, with your phone? This is the strange thing about a phone. Oh, yeah. Bloody hell. Maybe somebody's pickpocketed, you know. No, I'm joking. Right.
And so I was sat next to the Chief Constable flag. There was a burglar rifling the dressing rooms while we were there. And the Chief Prosecutor and the Chief Constable were both there. The burglar was rifling.
Bloody hell.
Thankfully, I kept a low profile.
They've done to raise awareness of all of this. They've had like pickpockets go to like parties, events, and they'll turn up with people's like footballers. They've done that too, where they've all got pickpocketed. Yeah, have you got Find My iPhone? Yeah. Luminac. 13 meters behind over this direction. Here we go. Got Find My iPhone on. It's pointing over here. I think it's under the table, or it says it's here. It's not in a bag. It says it's here, which is good. Hey! That old chestnut. I mean, there's probably no worse thing, you know. And then obviously you've got, you know, either been on with David Barker, like cancel the you have to close. I know. Anyway. Okay, we're going to make a start. No, I know. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone. Welcome back. We've just been dealing with a very minor issue where the Vice-Chancellor couldn't locate his telephone, and we won't tell you where it was. It was really difficult to find, but we did get it back, so everything is okay. And it allows us now to carry on with the rest of the evening. So welcome back, and I hope you had an opportunity to grab a drink and a chat with the people at your table. So before we proceed with our awards, we'd like to take a moment to mention the Volunteer of the Year Awards, which took place earlier this week, actually, in this very hall. The Volunteer of the Year Awards recognize and celebrate student volunteering taking place locally, nationally, and internationally. And there were 3 winners in this year's awards. These were Luman Chow, who led nearly 400 students from 129 universities in 25 countries to support postgraduate researchers around the world. There were the Tree Musketeers, brilliant name, who have created significant impact through their dedicated research-based environmental conservation efforts. And there was Lily Turnbull, who had led the Once a Month initiative focused on accessible sanitary products. So congratulations again to all our students who entered these awards. Okay then, for our next award, Outstanding Contribution to Environmental Sustainability and a Zero Carbon Future, I would like to ask Julia Durkin, Head of Environmental Sustainability, and Jen O'Brien, Academic Lead for Sustainability Teaching and Learning, up to the stage. Thanks, Julia and Jen.
Thank you, Julian, and good evening, everybody. So tonight we have 2 highly commended, 1 student winner and 1 staff winner. So Julia, may I ask you please to announce the highly commended awards?
Thank you, Jen. And you know, if we really want to live forever, then we need to be zero carbon and nature positive. on point there, Julian. So on to the awards anyway. So the first highly commended award goes to a project focused on diverting e-waste from landfill by reclaiming and then redistributing serviceable IT equipment within the university. As part of their IT Kit Amnesty Week, they collected everything from monitors and keyboards to cables, and I heard even floppy disks, which probably belong in Manchester Museum rather than the Amnesty. So anyway, congratulations go to John Vasta-Zomba, David Lloyd, and the Hardware Asset Management team for this fantastic initiative. Right, the second highly commended award recognises a project that not only reuses resources and reduces waste, but also provides essential equipment and frees up valuable space through innovative laboratory rehoming. So this is a brilliant example of a practical, people-powered circular economy project in action. Congratulations go to Joanna Woodburn, Natalie Terry, Becky Higgins, Ray Watkins, and the FBMH Technical Operations team.
And now on to the first of our two winners. So the first winner for this category is a student-led project that helps to promote sustainable transport and healthy lifestyles through bike usage. Congratulations goes to... Sorry. Isaac Law and James Brandon for the Beco Bikes project.
Students are often put off from choosing cycling as a sustainable mode of commuting to the university because of the high costs associated with owning a bike, lack of knowledge about maintaining them. And so Beco Bikes is a bike repair workshop that's located in the basement of the Student Union, and they offer affordable bike rentals at just £1 a week, and they also offer free or low-cost repairs and maintenance on bicycles. So far this academic year, Beco's has carried out 476 repairs on students' bikes, saving them over £5,700 when you compare it to the prices of bike shops around the local area. The impact of the project extends beyond the university campus. Customers are asked whether they want to do an optional donation of £5 per repair to Once a Month, which is another of our Student Union projects that donates period products to people experiencing homelessness around Greater Manchester. They've also contributed to sustainability initiatives in the wider community by donating a refurbished cargo bike to the Gaskell Garden project. The impact that Beco's Bikes has had on sustainability at the university is really impressive, and I can't wait to see what they do in the years to come.
Huge congratulations to the Beco Bikes team. Now for the second winner. And this is really very exciting because this winner has also been selected to receive the prestigious 2025 University Social Responsibility Medal for Staff. So a number of external members of our General Assembly formed a judging panel for this medal and awarded it to this project because they felt it was particularly innovative and had strong evidence of future long-term impact. The winning project is called The Bright Idea, and it's set to transform campus energy through a new solar farm partnership, leading to our largest ever reduction in fossil fuel emissions. Congratulations go to... Lee Barlow for the Corporate Power Purchase Agreement. Woo!
Well, the issue is carbon emissions, climate change, and the level of impact we're having as an institution. And so this really helps us start to take responsibility for that and try and drive them down as quickly as we can. Lee's been responsible for getting us a corporate power purchase agreement. And what that means is that for 65% of our electricity that we use on campus, we're actually creating a new solar development in Essex. Us signing the contract for that power means that that development goes ahead, and it means that we've decarbonised that big chunk of our electricity. So it is the biggest single action that we've taken in order to meet our net zero goals. The asset isn't quite online yet, but it will be in around the next month or so, and then we'll be able to count 65% of our electricity as zero carbon. So that gets our emissions down, and that's great, but perhaps more importantly, it's about us using the purchasing power of the university to drive the change we want to see in the world. So that's driving new investment in renewable assets. So the impact is kind of twofold there. It's about our own emissions, but it's also about us saying, we've got all this power through our purchasing, how can we make that do as much as we possibly can? Well done, Lee, we're all really proud of you. Your determination to get this project through has been really inspiring to see, and it's what is going to make transformation happen right across the university and beyond, that determination and motivation to make things better.
Big congratulations to Lee. That's the first time I saw that video, so sorry about that photo of you, Lee. That was quite a startled-looking Lee Barlow there. It wasn't deliberate. I hope you liked our cheeky musical reference as well to the environmental sustainability themed section as well. So our next award is for outstanding alumni contribution to social responsibility. And presenting the Alumni Award is an alumnus of ours, very appropriate, and former General Secretary at the Students' Union, Na Aqua, who now works at the Department of Health and Social Care, and also Professor Lynn Bianchi, Vice President for Social Responsibility, Equality, Diversity, Inclusion and Accessibility, one of the longest job titles, I think, in the university. Can I invite Lynn and Na to please come to the stage to present the next award?
That's a fantastic surprise. Thank you, Julian. And thank you to the university for seemingly making me a vice president all of a sudden. And a vice dean. What a nice surprise. I don't think you can take it back once you've given it. I'll just check that one out with P&OD afterwards. So we're really pleased, aren't we, to be here to make the Making a Difference Awards for our alumni category. The winner in this section will also be the recipient of the prestigious Alumni University Medal for Social Responsibility. But first, let's hear who our highly commended are.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here at the Making a Difference Awards, which continue to amaze me each year and makes me really proud to be an alumnus of this university. So the first highly commended award goes to a community-driven initiative seeking to address the underrepresentation of women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics by creating opportunities for professional growth and community engagement. Congratulations to Saba Khan for the Northwest Women in STEM initiative. The second highly commended award goes to a radio program initiative that promotes equality and cultural understanding to enhance peace and social cohesion through education. Congratulations to David Ashikomi, Unabeng Udoka, Rita Robert Otu, and Donald Ogar for the Radio Fantasy for Social Inclusion project. Unfortunately, David and his colleagues are not able to be here this evening, but we'll make sure the certificate is sent to them. So let's give them a round of applause in their absence.
Okay, so now for the winner. Are we ready? So the winning award and recipient of the Alumni University Medal for Social Responsibility goes to a movement aimed at addressing and advocating for environmental sustainability through tree planting and growing in Malawi. So, congratulations go to Charles Bakalo Muvala for Youth-Led Environmental Movement Building Initiative in Malawi. Okay, so you must have guessed by now that Charles can't be with us this evening, and he has arranged to send a very special message from his home in Malawi. So acceptance on behalf of Charles. I think we're going to have a little video, aren't we?
Thank you so much for this exciting news, and thanks to the University of Manchester for recognizing our work in Malawi. So receiving this award to me is a dream come true. Incredibly grateful for this recognition to our environmental work in Malawi, and thanks to the University of Manchester. I'm so excited. I'm the voluntary national coordinator. I coordinate these young people, but also the church. My major role is to build a movement among these young people, but also the church, to come together to fight climate injustice, which is happening here in Malawi, but also across the global south. So far, with what we have been doing, we have seen that Malawi has banned thin plastics because we mobilized young people across the country to demonstrate in the streets that we don't want thin plastics, because these plastics takes quite a long time in the landfill to decompose. They take up to 1,000 years. So these people, or these young people, are passionate about this movement, where we had to engage different policy makers, and through that thin plastics were banned in 2019, where now companies are not allowed to produce, import, but also distribute thin plastics in Malawi. This is a movement of more than 6,500 young people, but also the church, who are part of this movement that we have created since 2018 to fight climate injustice in the country. And we do activities with or without money across the country. This includes tree planting, tree growing. We don't just plant the trees, we grow the trees, but also we are doing issues about waste management. How can our cities make sure that they are collecting waste, but also doing recycling in our respective urban centers.
Okay, our next award, I think, has a prize for being the longest one tonight. It's for outstanding contribution to social and environmental impact through entrepreneurship. I'm going to try to be careful not to promote or demote anyone in my introduction. So it's going to be presented by Professor Dimitris Papadimitriou, Vice Dean for Social Responsibility in the Faculty of Humanities, and Professor Richard Jones, Vice President for Regional Innovation and Civic Engagement. Dimitris and Richard, please come up.
Well, it's our great pleasure to be here at the Making a Difference Awards to present awards for outstanding contribution to social and environmental impact through entrepreneurship. And our university community, staff and students, is just full of entrepreneurs, people who have an idea and just give it a go and try to make it work. Could be a student startup, could be a faculty spin-out, could be putting together a social enterprise with partners from the city, or just trying to do things differently. So many of our entrepreneurs are motivated by the wish to make a difference. So it's a huge privilege for us to recognize them here. So, Dimitris, could you introduce our highly commended awards for this category?
Thank you, Richard, and good evening, everybody. I'm not happy about the lack of promotion opportunities in this university, but nonetheless, the first highly commended award goes to a sustainable startup pioneering algae-based biotechnology to address critical global challenges. So, congratulations go to Nayab Raza, John Pittman, Sunil Kuneimani, Zhuopeng Zhuo, and Sikander Baked for the Algaeverse project. The second highly commended award goes to a dynamic, community-centered space for action, sharing and learning, which is used by a range of change-making individuals and groups around the city. So, congratulations go to Hannah Hartley and Chloe Cousins for Manchester Museum's Top Floor project.
So now for the overall winner of the Making a Difference Award for Outstanding Contribution to Social and Environmental Impact through Entrepreneurship. This goes to a project that supports communities with long-term, predictable and unrestricted funds to help them cope with crises and invest in their futures. So, congratulations go to Nicola Banks and the One World Together team.
One World Together is an amazing project. It supports community organisations that work at the front line, from Manchester to Zambia, on a range of social problems, from homelessness to youth unemployment. What One World Together does is to provide sustainable funding for those organisations to do their best work. One World Together tackles these big social issues by trusting the organisations that are at the front line. It puts them in contact with donors from the UK and elsewhere who give a small amount of money every month, and that allows these organisations to do their best work. The work that Nikki and her team have done so far has made a huge difference, and it's growing all the time. They've helped through their funding to see organisations through crises. They've allowed organisations to plan for the future, to fill in gaps in projects, and to do more advocacy on behalf of their communities, and it's only getting bigger. One World Together is also supporting the people who are donating. So if you're a donor, you get to see all this from the inside, and it's really inspiring. So I definitely encourage everybody in the hall today to support One World Together. Congratulations to Nikki and the One World Together team. It's amazing what you're doing.
Congratulations, Nikki, and all the One World team for winning this award. It's an amazing project. We're all really proud of it. Okay, so this really has been an incredible night, and there's 2 more awards now to go before we finish. So next up, can we have Professor Melissa Westwood, Associate Vice President for Research, and Professor Dawn Edge, Academic Lead for Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, Professor Dawn Edge, I did say that, didn't I? To present the award for Outstanding Benefit to Society through Research. Please come up.
Hi everyone, you're doing so well. Nearly there, nearly there. Okay, so for Outstanding Benefit to Society through Research, we have 1 highly commended and 1 winning entry. And so, Melissa, would you announce the highly commended award first, please?
Thank you, Dawn, and good evening. So the highly commended award goes to a project that conducted research on the impact of direct-to-consumer genetic testing on donor conception, actively engaging with lawmakers to advocate for policy and regulatory changes that better address the needs of those involved in donor conception. And congratulations go to Lucy Firth, Petra Nordquist, Anna Nelson, Caroline Redhead, and the Connect DNA team.
Now, for the winner of the Outstanding Benefit to Society through Research. This goes to a pioneering project leading to significant improvements in the quality of asthma diagnosis. Congratulations goes to Stephen Fowler and the members of the Radika study team.
The aim of the Radica study is to try and figure out the most efficient set of tests to diagnose people who've got asthma. Asthma is a really common condition, and the issue that Radica is trying to address is the fact that we don't have a single test that we can perform to diagnose a patient as having asthma or not. There's a degree of complexity because patients have to undergo several tests, and we're not quite sure what the optimal combination of those is at the moment. The Radica study has aimed to address this issue by pulling in patients from our local GP practices around the hospital at Wythenshawe and putting them through a whole series of tests to try and understand, compared to expert opinion, which tests give you the most accurate diagnosis. The impact of the Radica study has been twofold already. First of all, a lot of patients from primary care have been accurately diagnosed of having asthma or not, which is massively valuable to the community. But secondly, data from Radica has been used to inform new asthma guidelines that have just been published this year. Well done, Radica team. I'm enormously proud of you.
Fantastic. So we're now on to our final category for this evening, and it's a great one to finish on. It's our award for outstanding contribution to equality, diversity and inclusion. So I have great pleasure in inviting Professors Rachel Cowan and Jackie Carter, who are both, I hope, academic leads for equality, diversity and inclusion, to present this award. So Rachel and Jackie, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Julian. Gosh, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling incredibly proud of my colleagues and the students and alumni, and it's an incredibly heartwarming event to be here. So thank you. So, for the outstanding contribution to equality, diversity and inclusion, which is very close to our hearts, we have 3 highly commended awards and 1 winner. Rachel, can I start please by asking you to announce our highly commended awards?
Thank you, Jackie. Okay, we had an incredible submission this year, and the first of our highly commended awards goes to a project that transformed considerations of racial diversity within the teaching and learning environment of the politics department. Congratulations go to Malila Raymond and the Diversity Politics Society. And the second highly commended award goes to the Division of Cancer Sciences project, nurturing an open, diverse and inclusive working environment. Congratulations to Stephen Taylor and the Division of Cancer Sciences team. And the third highly commended award goes to a project that supports individuals with health challenges at risk of long-term unemployment in Greater Manchester. Congratulations go to Tamsin Cooper, Sarah Hardman, Laura Roger, and the Working Well Roots to Dental team.
Okay, and so the overall winner for equality, diversity and inclusion, this project aims to equip young women with business and leadership skills to make changes in the community, especially in fostering empowerment and inclusive economic growth in Indonesia. They'll know who they are. No drum roll? And the winner goes to, thank you, Metri Wulandari Pravitasari, Gloria Maria Foster Pingak, Justicia Asteki Maulida, and Enrica Yumna for the Humba Shepreneur project.
Humba Shepreneur is a project led by Metri Wulandari, one of my very best friends, and it focuses on marginalized communities in West Sumba, Indonesia. It helps young women in Sumba where they usually face severe gender inequality and economic exclusion. Humba Shepreneurs addresses the challenges of gender inequality and economic exclusion by building some initiatives like She Drives Changes. This is the program where they have providing trainings and for entrepreneurial skills, and also She Delights. This is like a business incubation where young women aged 16 to 19 in West Sumba can upskill their sewing, and they can like build products based on tenun. Ikat is like a fabric indigenous to West Sumba. The participants have reported during the 10 months program of Humba Shepreneur, they reported the increase of self-confidence and also their knowledge of entrepreneurial skills. So that helps them empower themselves and like foster economic growth in the marginalized communities. Hi, congratulations to you, Metri, for receiving this award. I'm really proud of you for achieving this, because you continue to inspire me and the others how purpose-driven you are with your projects and how you always vision to impact all the marginalized communities, especially in Indonesia's least developed areas.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Rachel. Nearly there. Well, if tonight was like a greatest hits album of social responsibility, I think we can all agree it's been packed out with absolutely standout performances. And to bring this memorable set to a close with a few final reflections on this evening's highlights, please welcome back for an encore the President and Vice-Chancellor. Did get that right, not Vice President, President and Vice-Chancellor. I think I would be demoted if I got that wrong. Professor Duncan Ivison to help us end on a high note. Please come up, Duncan, again.
Thanks, Julian. I'll take a demotion any day. So look, what a wonderful evening, and to say that I can provide an encore is probably a stretch too far. But I said the other night at another unbelievable night, the Volunteer of the Year Awards, that the two most precious things you can give another human being are your love and your labor. And I think tonight we've seen a lot of love across the room, but we've seen this extraordinary gift of expertise and care and commitment that's been given by our staff, our students, our alumni and donors to the communities we serve. So that's just an incredibly inspiring thing to be part of and to witness. So let me thank everyone who's been commended, who's got an award. Let me thank also all the partners, the community associations, Ardwick Community Climate Action Group, who I had the privilege of meeting, but all the groups, all the communities who've worked with us. So let's have a round of applause for all of our partners in particular tonight. Thank you so much. And look, the final thing, just something that Nazir referenced at the beginning. We're living in a time where there's a lot of reaction and pushback against diversity, against equality, against inclusion. But that's not us. We're defined in the opposite direction. We're leaning into diversity, inclusion, and equality, not away from it, because not only the best universities, I think, are inclusive universities, are diverse universities, and universities that care about equality that's so manifest in the room tonight, but the strongest communities are diverse communities, communities that care about equality, communities that celebrate their diversity. And we can talk about it, but I think it's how we make it real in our daily lives, and the lives of our students, our staff, and the communities we serve. And I think tonight's just been an unbelievable concert for the ages that manifests our commitment to that vision. But as I said earlier, it's not easy. It's hard work. It takes commitment. And I think the challenge for the next few years is to think about what does social responsibility mean to our future as a university. And I really hope, building on the inspiration from tonight, that you'll all be part of helping us define that for our future. And I can't think of a better group to do it. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Let's thank Julian and the team for putting on a spectacular evening as well. Well done, Julian. And so with that, I'll leave us with our great frontman and rock star, Julian, and have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
So I'd like to just extend a few thanks, and thanks for those warm words, Duncan. So heartfelt thanks then to all our staff, students, alumni, and partners. As Duncan said, you remind us why we're here, of course, because really at our core, our university is just a community of people that believe knowledge matters and that it should be used positively to make a difference. And we've had such wonderful examples of that tonight, so thank you. Thanks to all our presenters and to our panels of judges who had the incredibly tough job of selecting tonight's winners and highly commended entries. A big thank you to our colleagues in media services and in communications for keeping everything running so smooth tonight, managing the AV and the online channels, the YouTube, the LinkedIn, everything. So thank you very much for that. A big shout out to Food on Campus for keeping us well fed and watered. There was no overpriced warm lager in plastic cups, so well done for that. Thank you to Eastern Bloc for producing the beautiful film celebrating our winning projects, and also to our brilliant and patient photographer, Jill Jennings, for capturing it all from behind the lens. Thanks. We talked a lot about community partners and social enterprises, so thanks also to one of these, Hume Garden Centre, for the table arrangements. So these are designed to be reused, so please feel free. Don't fight over them. We don't want any fighting at the end of such an uplifting award, but you can take them away, so feel free to take them away at the end of the night. I can hear the arguments already. Let's have, while you're arguing, let's have a big round of applause for our fantastic band, Funked It Up. Amazing, really added to the evening, so thank you very much. And a huge thank you then to my team in the Office for Social Responsibility. None of this would have happened without them. So to Marie and to Deanne for all the behind-the-scenes organisation, to Mags and Eleanor for scripting and stage managing the evening. All the bad puns are mine, I'll take the blame for that. All the brilliant parts were Mags's, so thank you for that. To Vanessa and Catherine for keeping us all running to time and managing all of our slides and our films and animations. It's a huge amount of work. Thank you. And to Danny for managing our social media channels and helping people who couldn't be here tonight to engage online as well. And last, but definitely not least, can I ask you to put your hands together for the real Wonderwall behind tonight's show? She's the person, I think, who could organize an Oasis reunion with her eyes shut, holding it all together with style, with stamina and a spreadsheet. We've all been the victim of Lisa's spreadsheet. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Lisa Govey, please, for organizing it. Okay, just a few other little bits of housekeeping then. So before we wrap up, a quick reminder, if you received an award or a certificate tonight, please come up to the stage so we can capture a big group photo of all our amazing winners. We do this every year. It's a fantastic image. It's the one that goes on StaffNet. So make sure you come up and get your big photograph. Don't be shy. We want you to mark the moment properly. And now to round off the evening, Funked It Up will send us out in style with something a little special. We've chosen this final Mancunian anthem in honor of this being Duncan's first Making a Difference Award because, as it happens, we know it's one of his all-time favorites, giving it a clue away there. So thank you for being with us tonight, not just to celebrate what's been achieved, but also spark inspiration for what's still to come in social responsibility. So over to the band. Thank you and good night.